that was even though I actually haven't played it for a while, that was the card I was talking about, that it made me feel cold and alone for it to be if it went away. And that's why I nominated it. Because like that feeling that losing this card would make me feel cold and alone was the indication that we should get rid of it.
And what card was that?
Uninvited.
Oh yeah. But yeah, that card.
And At an Impasse was just that's because that's the card I threw across the room at Texas because Daddy got too drunk for the team tournament and finally snapped at Neil playing someone else's Neil playing a different player's Romulan discard deck. Your Romulan discard deck, I believe, was just I snapped and started. I called Ken Tufts a sociopath, an idiot, and a pedophile.
Are you prepared now? Because I already started this thing. So
did it start?
Yeah, I figured I started right in the middle of a Hosp rant because that's good.
Great. So this is the discard pile / Hosp report.
Crossover special.
Crossover crisis. And we're gonna reveal the Hall of Fame class of 2018. So I think we're gonna go over the list, and then we're gonna talk about what Hall of Fame format's about a little bit, right?
Sure, it's your show. It's not a crossover. It's a full fledged Hosp report. You got to redeem yourself from. I'm
the captain now. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, you better have brought the tough questions, unlike the period of review. Okay, I want to be sweating by the end of this with a towel and be all nervous talking about money.
Oh, Lord.
All right.
Okay,
all right, let's get to.
Yeah, I'll let you go down the list, I guess.
Yeah, the first the results are posted.
Wait, hang on. Why don't you remind us what three was it? It was 5 cards were already where the class.
The class of 17. The first class. I just copied what baseball does. And then I listened on the radio this week about everyone bitching about how baseball does it. So I said, then me lowering the threshold maybe was a good thing. So the threshold was 75% last year, and only 5 cards made it. Gum 2, Issue a Trust, Hard Time, OT Kirk, and ironically just one Chakotay, the bridge between 2 crews, made it. So there were the only 5 cards that made the 75% threshold, which is actually, after 2 years of taking results, is fucking amazing that 75% of people can agree on anything. But then also, if we went by the new threshold, 7 more cards would have made it. So
were there any differences between what made it this? Like would those cards have made it? Are there any cards that would have made 65% last year that
didn't make it this year?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's exactly. I have that here.
Thanks for fast forwarding through my.
That's all right.
Yeah.
No, remember, this is face to face. So the bullies who talk about people who have a stutter or question their integrity, they don't show up when it matters. As you see, there's only the 2 of us.
That's not the stutter. Here. The stutter is a distinct thing that happens to me when public speaking sometimes. It's 10 a.m. on a Saturday morning, and I haven't had coffee yet.
Yeah, it's too early. It's too early to drink. Well,
yeah, exactly. So go through the.
So two cards that would have made it last year that weren't even nominated were Field Studies and Klingon Riker. So, but if they're not nominated, you can't go in the Hall of Fame. So I'm not sure.
Klingon Riker, I think I understand that not being nominated. That definitely is it had its day card. It's a little bit like nominating Davies.
Well, yeah, I'm gonna get into that. It had its day card because in my mind, even though we obviously know what's in my mind, it doesn't fucking matter. But
right.
it had its day is my whole qualification for a yes vote. That's all I ever foresaw Hall of Fame to be. It was like, oh, this card ever have a good run? Like Stir Crazy we'll get to that got very little votes. But that also requires playing the game throughout its whole run.
Yeah.
Which some people don't do, which is fine. But I don't care what the card does. It's did this card did I ever go through a year or 2 years or whatever of what everyone played this fucking card, and then that's it. That's all I need. You're getting a yes vote.
Okay, yeah. So go on. Yeah, but go through the list of don't call it a ban list for.
Yeah, I'm okay with that kind of trolling. You can. It's a restricted list or whatever.
Yeah, I had to try to explain this to Tiffany, and she was and like she kept interrupting me with what she thought I was talking about.
Well, no, everyone does it. Everyone, even when you read it, I think that's what happens. You get through like the first little bit, and then you're like, oh, this is what I think it should be, and then that's what it is. But we're all guilty of that. We all. Right away, make a snap judgment when we read any kind of story or pitch or anything. He's like, "Oh, I already kind of know what this is, but I already know how to make it better." Because
there's a name for that. I call it "If I Ran the Zoo." If I ran the zoo, yeah.
So the top two cards were actually first time eligible from the first two committee era expansions, and of course. The number one is All-Consuming Evil, the much maligned Will of the Collective that got
the collective card that was not part of the third Will of the Collective overcorrect and don't do anything at all card or a like the one real Will of the Collective ongoing fuck up that fucked that continues fucking the game.
Yeah, well, there's I see that one is doing a will of the Collective, and God bless you all. Good luck with that. But that got 88.7, which is a very high number, and for this voting, just shy of the record of GOM2 93.1. I think that's going to be an unbeatable record as we go through the years.
I don't mean to interrupt the reveal, but of the three ballots that were against All-Consuming Evil, how did they avoid getting named troll ballots? Were they?
Oh, you're asking who went against Ace?
I don't need you to name and shame, but like,
no, I won't do that.
I'm curious. Did the no votes for All-Consuming Evil?
Yeah, we could go. Oh, I would love to go just without naming names. Just how people just like I find that interesting. How people, how people.
Were there any votes for Tragic Turn but not All-Consuming Evil?
Yeah.
I want to know.
Yeah, there's some people do have votes for Ace, but not Tragic Turn, because Tragic Turn got 18 votes.
Yeah,
and All-Consuming got 20.
Spoiler alert: that Tragic Turn would have made the cut at 65. Or no, Tragic Turn did make the cut at 65. It was about where it was last year. It just the threshold dropped. Yeah.
Yeah. Tragic Turn got 69. It had 65 last year. That's about the same.
Yeah.
And Ace was and like I said, I was kind of rooting. Like I vote yes just about everything. I don't execute order number 6 like you do and burn them all. But I only had 3 no votes.
Yeah, but I voted for Starfleet General Order 4.
4. I'm sorry.
All exotic species deemed a threat to Hall of Fame format will be prejudice.
I was rooting for Tragic Turn to not make it because I like to see a scenario where we can go back to the days of not just Ace. Let me consume my aces. The no talent dilemma pile of let's.
Yeah, we can have a segment on why the Tragic Turn errata is bad, or what errata should have been done differently later. But
I don't know I don't mind Tragic Turn as it is now, where it has to go under.
Here's the thing, and this is actually me sort of repeating a Neil Timmons story, so strap in. But this one I actually agree with. Is Neil had a Tragic Turn pile before it got errata that was like, it wasn't a kill pile, it was a stop pile, and it used like not Bot Cool Challenge, the one with Jedzia holding the water buckets or whatever that is.
Oh, Breenai.
Yeah, Brennan Ritual and Clarity to make sure, like, it was Tragic Turn and it was stop guys, but don't go on.
Yeah.
And that doesn't work at all anymore. So.
Yeah, you can't. Yeah, you're right. There was that weird Tragic Turn, but don't consume, like with guest whatever it's called.
Clarity, yeah.
Well, there's clarity, and then there's that event that subtracts.
Oh yeah.
And then if you want to get crazy, there's the Starfleet event that subtracted 1. Yeah, you're right. It killed that. It killed that.
I had made a deck like that also, and yeah.
Well, Ben. Well, since I heard that you're in design, you can make a new tragic turn, but not kill. Just stops it. Does the same thing. Which
that's true. That's true.
Look at that. Look at that. Well, I also, if I'm going to get deep state in a conspiracy, I do think there's design space, not for Hall of Fame or result, but it gives you ideas like that. I think gives you a little.
It's okay if there are cards designed specifically for Hall of Fame, 1 or 2 at a time.
In a response,
yeah,
maybe.
I think it's okay. Like Netrunner just did a big rotation of a lot of the older stuff, and if anybody's going to go against that, I know there's a dual deck project in the works that's not part of design, but they were talking about new cards for that. So if anybody gets to John Corbett's got too much power, which is another thing I read on the internet. Don't worry, it's not. It's just a concept. Number 2 on the list was from the first set, Undiscovered Country, the mission that everybody hates, Age Legendary Civilization, clocking in at a very high 84. And so here's another the post nerf Aldea.
Well, it didn't nerf it. It didn't.
No, it did not. It did not. Yeah.
It just made it less, because it really was insulting to solve the mission and then put guys who were somewhere else underneath, or guys who weren't involved. Here, I'm gonna hide my 6 cost guys.
I've put a guy on hard time under the mission because of that. Under the deck because of that. That's fun.
I told Josh and it's hard to get Josh to do a rata, not that whether that's good or bad, but I said at least make it honorable. At least make it where you have to get your 6 cost guys through the mission.
Medical teams under the deck with that card.
Yeah, because that would make me. That's like, okay, I'm losing. And I lost a lot of games against denial. I would have, all right, I go get my guys killed, and then I would rebuild. And right when I'm about to go back out, they solve Age Legendary, and then that's what always it's like Alarm and Rumors with Maquis. It was just the one card too many that got me. And then
which did not even get nominated, by the way. Although that Alarming Rumors isn't eligible, right?
Oh,
that's
I don't know what set that was. It's probably a year or 2 away.
Yeah. Okay. Well, anyway.
But interrupts are hard to get through. We're about to get to that too. And then number 3, like we were saying last year, Chuckle's brother, number 2, is going in. He got 80.8, only 69% last year. So I guess some people are still playing. I thought no one played Voyager, or they weren't that good. I was here.
It's relativity that's the problem.
Oh, that's right. He does see a lot of play. So I guess, so there you go. People are. And that's just like on the Tragic Turn. I wanted to see a world where we would see revised Chakotay, but have to go with a different, lesser Chakotay. But
right, and which theoretically was last year, but there was a little bit of a I want to call a semi-trolling of you that was giving Hall of Fame format a chance with the current list, and that's why we didn't run any events in it last year, because we didn't get a high enough threshold. And so we okay, last year the pilot program didn't quite work, so we're gonna rework it for a year. And
I know it got delayed. I made an error just by going, let's go with 75%. Let's make it.
That's fine. No, I like.
No, well, I was going to say, well, unfortunately, I got a text at about 3:30 this morning that Nate wouldn't be able to attend. So after I cried myself back to sleep, and it was Nate who was pushing that I hate to use the word for real narrative that, how come no one played it for a year? It had a chance for a year and no one played it. I'm like, come on, man, who's going to play a format with only 5 cards missing? Like, let's be. So that was just being, grasping at reasons to, And then I saw the very, very well done report of how one online game you can garner all that data from 5 different random cards. So it was.
I guess if you play like anyone that played a Maquis deck with a Tragic Turn pile that didn't have a hard time in it was playing that format. So I don't know what the was. Yeah. So yeah. Yeah. But anyhow, let's.
The whole knock of.
I'm going to defend Nate a little bit. That 7 a.m. on a Saturday in California is maybe a little bit early for him to get up. So
You better get the fuck up because the mountain's coming down. He might need to get up. He might have to make a run for it. So, All right, number 4 on the list, and it was a card that didn't get nominated last year, which was a sin, was Shran, the old In Archer's Debt, that got a 73.1. So I have no problems with that. Shran kind of went away after Ingenious Jury Rig, but it's still.
This is a little bit of a had its day because
it's still good though. I was using it in Atlanta.
Oh yeah. He's still great. It's that I think it might be that it's just Ingenious Jury Rig. He's got such low stats that it's just hard to like he's actually a problem sometimes, and yeah.
Well, that's his only. His one drawback is that he doesn't have high.
Right. I think cards coming out that specifically beat him were like
there was only one, and I noticed. I said, I haven't seen anybody else play Ingenious Jury Ring in a long time.
Oh, really? Oh, I love that thing because it.
Well, yeah.
Look, so I specifically make decks with almost no transporters because that's like the only dilemma that requires it that that ever comes up. So anyway,
so the next batch, I'm going to call them the Draw Engine crew. These are the Voyages, Mir Bashir, and Waxana, who all got the same 73%, and they all got about 72. They all missed by 1 vote last year.
That's true.
Except for Waxana, who wasn't nominated, which is weird. But so basically the whole draw, and this is what a lot of decks is. This is it. This is what you're usually rocking: Bashir, Waxana. These are the Voyagers, or sometimes all 3. And that allowed that whole thing allowed decks to go from 50 cards to 80 cards. So I have no. I'm kind of glad that whole mess.
I thought that I have the 2 decks that I had put together for Monasters Open, and I thought that other than Tragic Turn and Ace, because I did have one deck that has a Tragic Turn pile. What one of them is Maquis with a Tragic Turn pile. That was going to be that. Other than needing a new denial dilemma pile, I was going to need I wasn't. But no. One of my decks did have the sheer.
Did I lose some internet? Am I still?
You're picking up some background noise, but no, now we're good.
Oh yeah.
So this is it's starting to burn me now. Starting to burn. And
well, that's the whole. It's gonna fuck with your deck making. And that's the point. Like Eamon Maritza, we all deserve to be punished, all of us. Well, there's just cards, and we're about to get to a dilemma of personal duty. But just like I had Mir Bashir, just 1 copy, just cards that you've always.
That's exactly what it is. It's 1 copy Mir Bashir because sometimes costs 4 and 5 is not high enough for my draws. But yeah, all right.
A couple more dilemmas to round out was
although I would have liked to have seen a world with These the Voyages, but not Bashir and Waxana.
Yeah. Unfortunately, we're not responsible enough to have those kinds of things.
Yeah, we can get into this later, but I think one of the weaknesses of the Hall of Fame format is that is that you're not vetoing stuff.
Well, no, these are the Voyages. It's fine because it opens up room for there's different draw cards. There's the ship one. There's the yellow icon with Picard's face from Generations. There's other draw cycle. Stuff.
Yeah. No. Okay. So moving on to where no one has gone before.
Yeah, where no one's gone before. Personal duty, both clock.
Oh, and this is also So starting with Shran, we're also getting cards that would not have qualified under the previous
a few. Yeah, where no one's gone before has shot up. Just under 60% last year, and now just under 70.
Well, no, Shran was 73%. I mean that we're starting to get to cards that would not have qualified.
Oh yeah. Well, Shran. Yeah, I don't know how Shran and Waxana weren't. We had more nominations last year, but I also had the nomination there this year. I was like, I don't want to put any work into nomination, so everybody just nominate 3 cards. Last year I had a little bit different, and then the most whatever. So, whatever. Anybody can bring up a card for vote. We'll get to the bottom feeders, the oddballs, at the bottom of the list. But yeah, so we already went through Tragic Turn. That got about the same number of votes, over 65%. And then Whatever's Gone Before. Obviously that card has never stopped seeing play. And then Personal Duty clocked in at the same at 69%. So, those are obviously, those are,
And then Blended and Picking Up the Pieces shed a single tear.
Well, I picked up the pieces, saw a lot of play in the early days. A lot.
That's what I mean. Yes.
Yeah. Well,
I remember Barry's that.
And then besides Aid Legendary, which was, obviously everyone, that's a lot of hate. That was just a lot of hate ballots. We also had 3 missions finally make it in. Rescue Prisoners, Survey New World. Those were just easy planet missions everybody used. And then shockingly, Investigate Alien Probe, which I'm fine with because I saw a lot of play in the early days.
Yeah, that's definitely one of those. Yeah.
So it deserves to go in, but that's one I haven't seen that mission in forever. So
yeah,
I don't know why. I don't know where I don't know if it's hate, but if we're gonna if the card had its day, here's an example of a card.
Yeah. People did what you said a little bit, or they might have just it might just be old people that haven't played in 10 years. That
no, the people who are pitching about the Baseball Hall of Fame, it was because once you're in the Writers Guild that ever does the voting, you always stay in it. You don't get to. So if you stop covering baseball, you're that's what they're so But I think it's the opposite now. Now we have newer players.
Yeah.
People who didn't play, so they don't remember cards that had to stay. And then, so those were the missions. But
is Silverman still voting in the Baseball Hall of Fame? Do you know?
I think so. I think Dan Lebitard sold his vote or some nonsense as a mocking trolling baseball.
Yeah.
But shockingly, historical research fell short, which is weird. Crisari, come on, what mission? Crisari has never stopped seeing play. That fell short.
And missions are especially bad offenders on the standard of I'm tired of seeing this card because they're on the table the whole game. So
investigate my key activity. And like I said, HR and Crisari, come on, man, those missions are all the time. So I don't understand how I think because those are cards we use a lot. Like, you're playing a deck with, cheesy decks with investigate my key and HR and Crisari. I think those are ones that people aren't ready to give up yet. I think there's a little bit of that psychology too. Like, oh, I use this card a lot. I want to keep it. I don't want to.
I thought about not like when I was before I made the choice to not think about my ballot. I was thinking about, oh, do I really want to get rid of this card? And then I realized that I think because mine was actually the first ballot cast. I was thinking, well, if everyone just ignores you, I want the default to be all these cards go, even the ones not very nice.
Yeah, I think like most things us Star Trek nerds do is overthink things. It happens a lot in the committee, in the process, and this wasn't supposed to be thinking a lot. It's just
if I catch myself thinking like more than 5 minutes about something for this game,
we gotta, I call it. You made a good metaphor, a eugenics program. Like, oh, what does this card do? And degenerate things about who? Oh, did this card have a good run? Yeah, fuck it, let's get rid of it, and we'll figure out what happens.
We're not trying to curate we're not trying to curate a better game. We're trying to just because and we can get in this a little bit later of what Hall of Fame is for. It's not for like. It's not like 1E OTF where that's just going to be the format. This is going to be for a couple of masters every year, maybe.
And then a lot of people, when I would start pitching it, they'd be like, "Oh, it's 2E OTF." Before I would finish, I'm like, "No, just you don't have to compare it to something." People automatically, what is this like before? Which is a natural thing people do. But we actually there was one good let's call it a debate about kill prevention, like Escape and ETU, which fell short. Escape only got 53%, ETU got 50%. And there was a good argument. Look, we have I listed them all. Here are like 15 kill prevention cards that are never going to see play because you can just stock this generic card. And then, that argument. I
think maybe people were not thinking. I mean, again, now I'm encouraging overthinking, but I think people were maybe not thinking through that, oh, like, Ace at least is definitely going to make it, and Tragic Turn almost definitely. So maybe feel a little bit less scared and alone to get rid of ETU and Escape. But
also there's the I mean, like we said, this isn't Excelsior. This isn't two people playing at their kitchen table. This is for what is Masters for? People who travel. If you're traveling, you obviously put a lot of time into a dumb card game, which means you're going to see the same cards over and over.
Right.
That's
this event is for like once or twice at a Masters, like when it's not going to replace anything. It's just that we're tired of seeing the same like 20 cards in every deck. Play something different.
Yeah, like I'm not going to go keep
different format.
Yeah, the only bad experience I had last year, and I went to a lot of fucking tournaments last year, was Chicago. And then someone, Josh Sheets trolled me because I lost 2 games, but no, I played against OT Kirk all 5 rounds. I said, I don't care about losing. Master shows. I'll take my losses and be happy. Just beat me with different things. So I mean, it's gonna. Like, are you gonna keep traveling to play the same board?
Yeah.
Come on, that's who it was for. And all the people who were on the boards knocking it were all people I don't see that often. They're all from California or far away fictional lands. So it really was. It was all Californians and 1 Australian. That's really who was the Arby's Council and the Kangaroo were my detractors. But they're not here. I wish they were here. I wanted to.
Kangaroo that kicked Sylvester the cat in that one cartoon was voting against you. Yeah,
I really wanted to face my enemy and yell to their face. That's really what I wanted this debate, because it was a lot of faceless, a lot of daggers with question marks on those boards.
Not just questions. Okay, so we got to personal duty, and we
did the missions.
Rescue prisoners, alien probe, and survey new world, which were I believe those were all nominated by Maggie because she said you said to nominate missions. I think like I everyone's gonna yell at me now for stuttering because now I'm trying to look it up and say it at the same time, so I'm gonna stop that. But I think it was Maggie said we need some missions on the list and just nominated 3 missions off the top of her head.
Yeah, well, before Nate ran a smear campaign last year, he said, missions should be a priority, and he's not wrong. I think missions and dilemmas. Only I think here we had only 2 events and 1 interrupt. So so apparently it's hard to get verbs through over the threshold. So the events were 2 zero-cost events, security drills, and power shift. So, I mean, a power shift is a hate vote because that's just, and security drills is an easy one because good Lord, everyone plays that one. And the only interrupt that made it was knowledge and experience. And that certainly had its run. So
it sure did. And like 5 board cards have had to be errated because of it, and including it. So, yeah.
So that I believe that rounds out the 17 cards that made it this year, which is that's actually probably more than I think I probably would have settled for about 10. So I'm glad. I mean, I think lowering the threshold was the way to go. If we lowered it. Like I said, 4 cards fell short. I originally posted a poll with a whole bunch of options, and then 60% came out ahead, but then I ran them head off, and then 65% won. And I think 65 might be perfect. It might be, it's hard.
60%, yeah, because I was looking at this before, and 60% would have let in historical research, which I feel like like, for one thing, people were complaining that this is just you making up your own ban lists, and how come you get to decide everything?
All the power.
Yeah, but and like I actually think one of the weaknesses of this is that there's not a. I wish this were less of a democracy and more of a constitutional monarchy, where like if the voters had gone insane and had voted in
the headquarters,
the 2 headquarters. I think that's something that the deep state should.
You want to? I'll let you be the House of Lords. You can take any card in the future and say, hey, you gotta keep thinking about this. You gotta go back and and delay.
I would have said I would actually. have would have wanted historical research to get in, and graph plating trap, but unexpected difficulties, which I nominated almost as a joke, just sort of I mean, it was really a test case for is quote in every deck really the standard.
Yeah, well, yeah, it made people
really not for the voters, but like it
made people scared. They're like, oh shit, what are we gonna do?
And also, at what cost would be a weird card to get in, because that's such a like.
Yeah, but that's never stopped seeing play from the moment it came out in Necessary Evil. It's never stopped seeing play. So
and neither has unexpected difficulties. But
yeah, no, I'm all for it. Those are the perfect cards I want to go in, because it's like what, like don't. My whole point was don't be scared. Let's find out what you have to do.
And even though I nominated one to see if it to see what would happen, basically, and apparently what would happen when you nominate unexpected difficulties is it almost gets in, and then people maybe people are too scared. Is that I think both those two cards are so I think so much of the costing of cards since then has had them in mind. Like all the destroy an event to do this stuff has had unexpected difficulties in mind. All the bonus points cards have had at what cost in mind. So I think that screws with the costing of the whole rest of the game if you get rid of those. So you
just have to pay. No, it's the opposite. They're at what cost, and I don't know if it's at what cost is under costed, but unexpected difficulties. It's a card that wins you games, and it costs 0. So
yeah. But it's so boring that it's
that's the whole point. It's boring.
It's a mark of a real smart player to know when there's 50 events on the table and they're all kind of screwing with you, when the one to get rid of is usually unexpected difficulties.
Yeah.
The Galaxy Brain move is not killing it, even when little brain is kill the expensive event. Big brain is kill unexpected difficulties. Galaxy Brain is know when to kill the big event after all. But
no, I don't. Well, I guess I don't have that big. I always kill the UD and try to win.
Me too. But it's, I'm saying I think there's a third level that we're not getting to. But
no. But when you get to the late game, if they already set up their shit, if they're playing an event-based deck that set up their shit, and I get to the mid to late game, there's 7 events on the board. I got one shot. Hopefully you get a bad draw.
Yep.
And I got to sneak this in, because if I don't, I'm fucked anyway.
How many times have we personally beat each other by destroying unexpected difficulties?
Yeah.
Literally that move. Okay. So a couple of standouts on this list that didn't make it that I don't understand are
What's your what makes you angry at humanity? I got a couple here that I'm just like, what do we got to do?
I mean, At an Impasse was another thing that I nominated.
No one's gonna vote that in. That's not. Come on.
I used my 3 nominations basically to unexpected difficulties as a let's see how this works. Uninvited because I knew it would make people scared, and that didn't make it in. And At an Impasse because I got so mad at Neil I threw that card across the room in Texas. So
if we're going to get into speaking of uninvited, I do since one person made their vote public, Chris Onstonby, and his whole point was not listening to me and say degenerate. It's got to be, if it's not getting rid of degenerate stuff, it's not worth it. I
vote public and kill them all.
Yeah, well, but if that's your logic, then how do you vote no for uninvited? Yeah. I mean, I can't think of a more. It has no cost. I can't think of a more. I've won games. I've had dilemmas stacked up to here under a mission because of uninvited. So I find that suspect. That whole line of logic. Someone likes uninvited and didn't want to get rid of it. A couple of my biggest beefs is Chula the Chandra. Holy shit, that card has never stopped seeing play. That only got 53%.
Yep. What was I? Yeah. There was one that now people are going to be yelling at me. Everyone's mad at me.
The 5 viewers who are going to watch this.
They're
all going to just read it. They're all just going to read the post and then start throwing the daggers about why.
Yeah.
But
What
we've
about?
gotten now we've gotten rid of the top about 20 of the most played cards. I wanted to see. I think it really gets interesting when you get rid of the top 50 most played cards, but 20 is the start. I think 20 is going to be. We've already seen like, oh shit, I just obviously put that in my deck off the top of my head, and that's got to go. And
Yeah, I would have said that we should just do this by like literally just I don't know if the database is set up to do this, but so we'd have to poke Lobbin to make it happen. But like just literally like what are the like every
that requires what goes in. Not everything that's necessarily played goes in the tournament. Like I don't put every deck I play in.
And also you get people spamming things to
Yeah, well, I think I don't know if you're supposed to be the devil's advocate. One of the first things was, why don't you make this a poll on the boards? Like, what am I going to make? 47 polls on the boards? Like, come on, man. And
it's also a much different thing when like you this way you had to physically like say yes or like, because the way it worked, you actually had like there'd be no way to make someone vote on everything that way.
Yeah, it was not. It was.
You could have posted all the ballots, but that would have required let's be upfront. If the headquarters had made it, you'd have intervened and made them not make it. And
I can neither confirm nor deny any. I had faith. that would, if they had 2 votes and you were the
I was one. Yeah.
And it was funny.
Glad that didn't happen. Let's be glad we don't have to find out. How about that?
But it's funny. It got 2 votes each, but the other, it was 2 different votes from different people. So one person said, I don't like someone, and they wrote Earth. Oh, not to name names, but someone's for Earth Cradle of the Federation, the TNG headquarters. They voted yes and then put fuck TOS. So they didn't even know what Earth.
that may have been on purpose, but
no. It's just people don't. We don't. It's just we live in a culture. It's just hurry up. I don't got time for this shit. Everything's got to be on my phone scrolling. I don't got time. You want me to spend 4 minutes to make a ballot? No, just make a poll. I'm going to click on 37 links and vote. That's way more work. And then,
I guess I don't see any of these that I definitely think should have got in that are down at the bottom like you do. Like I mean Chandra's not that far down, but Historical Research and Grav Playing Trap, I definitely think.
And there's people love faceless bullshit, and then at least the ballot, even though I don't release the names, you still have to put your name on it and PM it to me. So you got to at least own it a little bit. It's people just want to do. It's the Facebook effect. Everyone wants just to like or dislike from behind a screen.
But what I was getting at is that if you literally just had like some automatic reading from the database of recently played decks, like that you'd have to like have a list of things that are like the headquarters would get in if that were the.
Oh yeah, well yeah, but I think it also this is about a public consciousness, a public. It requires, and then Sykes had a good idea. It's not the Hall of Good, it's the Hall of Fame, and 65% is just a tick under a super majority, so that's a fair number. So anything that goes in
majority, it's a tick under a 2/3 majority, but
that's what I just said. What do you? I know how
a super majority would
what up?
Right. Would any standard over 50% is a super majority. Of like a 55% standard would be a super.
Well, 60 override a veto. All right. So I think that's all my my Hall of Fame. Yeah, we missed the cut. The kill prevention. Sally.
K-Tal's a standout because he's the one of those guys that never got errated.
Yeah.
And we've had a conversation in the Team Jersey group chat about which Josh is in, but I don't know if he pays any damn attention to.
He lurks like he does everything.
K-Tal, I think K-Tal needs errata to have some cost to using him, or a once per turn or something. And also we need to take another look at Mara, because of that group of like K-Tal, but like of that group of like repeatable download cards. Let's leave K-Tal out because he's kind of. I mean, did he get errated to be at this mission, or was he?
No,
he was always at this mission, right?
Yeah. He just do it multiple times,
right? Yeah, but like Tal got errated to be at this mission, so at least he has to hang around. Mara got Quintessence got errated to be destroyed, to be not repeatable. Mara's the only one that still isn't good, and I think that's because they changed what she downloads and made her harder to use. And I think
that was I'm pretty sure I mentioned this on Discard Piles in the past, how that was
a hatchet. Tragic Turn, I think, are the two erratas that I would like to go back and
Mara was a complete hatchet job. I said that was in the dark period between.
I understand. I understand why. Like Neil and I did a real good job making her making people want to take a hatchet to her. So I understand why that happened. But
well, unfortunately, that was just one person who decided what to do there. And
I think now it's time to go back and maybe undo half of that card.
A couple other ones that I was shocked. Annexation Drone. I mean, that had a big run back in the day when that card came out. That card, I mean,
yeah.
Guinan. I was really hoping for Guinan. I mean, come on, man. When does that card not stop seeing play? Do we need to see? I want to see different Guidance. I want Fork You Guidance. I want Gloria from Cleveland. I know we had the Battleship Guidance, but I want different Guidance. I'm done.
Mispronounced Gloria from Cleveland.
Gloria from Cleveland. I gotta ask Ross. Is that how people talk up there? But,
it's not. That's the thing. that's a really thick like Brooklyn accent.
And I was rooting for Energize. That only got 50%. I mean, I don't think we need. I think Energize was a design mistake. I think Kenny Omega Cobra. He had a point there. That was a TNG thing. I don't think Energize needed to be made. And
that's why Energize is non-TNG.
Well, I know, but I don't think that ability should be generic. I don't think that was.
You're right. I'm agreeing.
One thing was weird. Like I said, Dreamer of the Dream fell short, and Troll the Chandra didn't get in. But Volta Tomorrow got like 11 votes, like 40%. And I'm the only guy who ever uses Volta Tomorrow, so I was shocked. And sadly, Moral Choice. I was hoping to see a world where blue was safe again, because Moral Choice had so much collateral damage. If Moral Choice, if you change the blue icon to a TNG icon, I think it's a perfectly fine card. But and then sadly, like I said, Infestation sadly only got 2 votes. So that was our. We knew the HQs were kind of just trolls, but
no triple at all.
But that's it. There's your Hall of Fame class, and so there you go. So we'll see in Mid-Masters is how much of an effect do you think this has on the Mid-Masters meta?
Well, I mean the revised Chakotay is big. Revised Chakotay makes me want to punch people for playing. I've never wanted to punch someone for playing Relativity, but I wanted to. It's made me want to throw cards. It's never gotten me to throw cards, unlike Romulan Discard, but it's made me mad and revised.
No, we've all yelled at Neil. I yelled at Neil at Alex's house last year. We had a doubleheader, 2 3-round tournaments.
Yeah. Uncle Ben had a few too many adult beverages during the.
Even I was like, why, Neil? Tournament. I was like, Neil, what are you getting out of this? I just wanted to know, like, what are you having fun playing Romulan Discard?
I also remember that it was your Romulan Discard deck that Neil was playing against me at the team tournament. That's what broke me a little bit. Nowhere No One Has Gone Before. There's guys that go in decks like specifically for that, like.
Yeah,
I mean, the big impact on the meta is definitely no Tragic Turn piles. There are other ways to do a denial pile.
Yeah, you could play. I mean, the eight costers are in the Hall of Fame. You could play unfair. There's an unfair comparison. 8 costers kill.
Yeah, I would have actually liked to have seen a world where with All Consuming Evil but no Tragic Turn, and see if like that makes sense in like biochemical hyperacceleration and stuff like that.
That's also there's also the flip side. You might think, oh well, now I don't need all this kill prevention because
that's true. So
and then here you go. Here come the 8 clusters in your face,
which actually work better on which escape actually works better on, and it's still around. So yeah, the denial piles have been are weakened, especially with Aldea going away, and the draws. Well,
that's the first thing. I mean, that's the first thing that's going to go. Unfortunately,
I don't think we mentioned Greasy Ducat. I think we skipped over Greasy Ducat.
Oh, I forgot. Yeah. Oh shit, where'd he go? Yeah, I missed him. I know we had the bottom.
Yeah, he was in the middle of. You got distracted by dilemmas and missions.
Oh, I missed it. I didn't write him on my list. He's he's down there with the same number of votes as just under Strand and Bashir with 18.
So Strand, Bashir, Luxana, these are the Voyages, and Ducat. Well, I take it back. Strand and Ducat are just like cards that you would throw in and not really count on.
I know there's the case for that. Oh, the game needs Ducat. I'm like, nah.
Yeah, I had a TOS deck that used Ducat and those TOS guys that clean out your own discard pile to make those null gate dilemmas work, and that was okay. But Bashir and these are the Voyages and to a lesser extent Waxana make you need to like reassess your deck a little bit because it, like you said, it can't be nearly as big now. Basically,
yeah. And then there was last year. In the nominations, Tyler had a post, may peace be upon him. Now that he's ascended into Star Wars heaven, had the thing. Oh, these are the 5 cards. The game, you need these. This game can't function without these 5 cards. I don't buy it. I think that's a sign of a bad game. If so fuck them. I say get rid of them. I am a burn them all guy. I mean, I unless it's a card like Infestation. I said I never seen it played, and then I go to Atlanta and face an Infestation deck.
Yeah.
But I mean, unless that's it, man. Like unless it's a card, like even like I think lore, not the lore that should go in. The one it was that
one's weird. When did that have a?
I voted yes for that too, but that was just because why I don't think that was a pity vote. So there you go. I think that's it. Anything? We want to talk more shit on the haters. I'm okay with that.
I don't know. I was gonna conclude my analysis of what the meta at Masters might be, and it's probably smaller decks because there's less need for bigger decks when you don't have like one of the reasons why like people in our neck of the woods started playing bigger decks is not just because of the deck cycling stuff. It's that me and Neil were playing Tragic Turn all the time, and when people die a lot, you need more of them. So if people are dying less often, then you need smaller decks.
Well, not only was it the cycle, also they gave everybody a download card. There was that time in design where Marquis and
Yeah. I know I've asked you this, but remind me Barca, the set that will have some incentives to play smaller decks is not coming out in time.
Yes,
right?
there's a few cards that reward drawing it in your opening hand, which obviously would make you want to play a smaller deck.
Right. And there's a couple of explicit incentives for a smaller deck that I'm pretty proud of, but I'm not going to.
Are you trying to go ahead if you want to spoil? Are you trying to like?
I'm not going to spoil them. I'm going to tease them, but they won't be out for Masters. Is what I'm asking.
No, I'll go ahead and get in trouble. I got a design meeting tomorrow where I'm probably going to get yelled at or get. There's a 20% chance I get fired. But you're gonna see a card in Barca. I don't know what the name's going to be yet. It's going to be the first time where it's going to create a max limit on your deck size. Yeah.
And if you're mad at that idea, what has 2 thumbs and you can yell at this guy.
And that falls into our we were talking about overthinking earlier, and then that made some people go bibbles a little bit. Like, how are you going to have? I'm like, you got a minimum. You got to have at least 35 cards and 25 dilemmas. It's the same.
What I said. You don't get to deck check your opponent arbitrarily either way. Yeah.
Now, luckily, the rules mistress also doesn't. Luckily, she's got common sense, so we didn't have to. We didn't have to. So once again, also if you're worried about design, trying to do bold things, you don't have to worry. I know there's a take out there about how design should be making crazy powerful cards and never slowing down anything else, but that logic doesn't work because we don't have to sell cards. Decipher had to sell cards, so they had to make crazy shit that you need. Like what was the Fractured Time? Like Jasad. There's so many cards that you needed. They were non-unique because they want you to buy fucking 3 of them. We don't have to do that. The game, I need a good game. I don't need our selling. Our metric for selling is how much the cards are played. So
yes.
I don't know where that rant took me to, but so next year, I look forward a little bit to 2019, and there's actually going to be a lot of stuff eligible. There's a double set, Raise the Stakes, 2 other full expansions, and then a smaller boutique set. But unfortunately, there is a lot of dog shit. There's only Patal. I think he's a first ballot. He's the only one I would consider. Bridge Officers Test. I think that next year that should definitely get a nomination. After that, it gets real bad. This side of Paradise, I only like Polywater Intoxication, but I even consider. Legacy is really bad. The Centaur, that ship sees a lot of play. Evac, but I don't think people are going to give up that capture. And then Allegiance, I couldn't see one card. So next year, the pickings are going to be slim. So I guess we'll have to revisit the cards that came up a little short. And we'll have get out the vote campaign for unexpected difficulties and at what cost, and or to make the conspiracy true, I'm going to lower the threshold to about 20%. I think that'll help things out.
I'll help it out. Yeah. However, looking ahead, even after next year, if you look at what came out in 2010, there are only 2 sets, but one of them's a doozy.
Yeah, that's going to be the fun year when Peak Performance.
But I didn't realize Peak Performance was the only. Although Infinite Diversity is going to be Transport Crash Survivor might be I foresee that being the first instance of the royal veto being used to keep out.
No, I'm okay. I would be okay with TCS going away. Bring Skeleton Crew back, or have other hell. Maybe we need a different. Maybe there's a way to get people to have to go with more people. That's not a Q mission.
That sound you just heard was the 14-inch boner that MVB just sprung.
I was playing Maggie. She's in the chat room. Phil did the same thing once where I played them and they're like, "Oh, TCS ruins my deck." I'm like, "You can't play a deck that TCS is gonna fuck up your operation. That's just not a world." Don't do that. You gotta make a deck where you gotta get through dilemmas. It's hard to make decks that don't have to face dilemmas anymore with good reason.
Yeah. Well. Okay. Yeah. Well, we got 2 years to figure out whether
that'll be the next crisis of the process. Can we live without TCS?
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah. See you all.
We'll be making that decision at the same time whether we can handle 4 more years of Donald Trump. So
yeah.
Big decisions.
Boy. Yeah. Yeah.
Big decisions coming in 2020.
I was about to say see you all in Manassas Park, but hopefully not all of you, because I am going to start running out of space. But yeah.
Well, we got how many travelers? Yeah, I forgot to before we forget, we got a pimp. Manassas is going to be the last weekend in February. I'm coming for my birthday. I plan on doing bad things to the new condo. So
we got. I'm looking at my list of who's traveling, and if Josh, Ken, and Daryl count as traveling,
you're gonna get catfish. Like I got catfish with Nate coming to the show. Daryl's not coming.
Agreed. If look at the list more carefully, if Josh, Ken, and Alex count as traveling, which I guess they do, we've got like 8 travelers. I don't know how many of them are staying in hotels. I guess Brian counts as traveling, but he's probably staying in a hotel with his kids.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it shows that you were kind of this whole Masters wasn't a troll. It was like, fuck it, I'll give it a try. And then all of a sudden, 2 months out, people go, all right, fuck it, I'll sign up, I'll go. Yeah. Like the Masters circuit,
is becoming a thing.
I know also that's another thing that gets a lot of heat from California, from the Arby's Council, but like that's the new paradigm for Trek. I mean, it's everyone plays one regional a year. That's the new local, and
no, I'm not kidding about how I didn't mean just like finding places for everyone to sleep. That we can figure out. I mean like if I wasn't kidding when I said everyone who's coming like either pre-register, or if like I'm gonna call out Ken Brandt here for literally not knowing how to pre-register, which is that was pretty funny. That's a good point, because Lobbin, your website is trash. Fix your shit. But
hot takes.
Seriously, I
I lost the Hosp. Well, we're going to wrap up the show here. The Hosp has been deleted. Let's see if I can get him on here real quick before we. It's a shame he got deleted in the middle of a Lobin tirade. But we'll give it I'll give it about a minute. Or I should probably end the show on a high note. That would be the smart thing to do. But that's it for your 2018 Hall of Fame. See you all in answers.